Hi, this is Phyllis. Welcome back again to my channel. Today's project is going to be based on the pointed oval component from the Shapes of Summer series by Kelly Dale at Off the Beaded Path. As you can see, this is Kelly's design, and this is the pattern that I purchased from her. From this pattern, I have made the Romow necklace, and today's project is going to be the construction of the Romow necklace based on these pointed oval components. I cannot teach you how to make these pointed ovals. However, I will leave the link to the video and to the pattern of these pointed ovals in my description box. Kelly gave me permission to use these pointed ovals, and I appreciate her for that. And she is one of my teachers, so I really appreciate her, all the work that she's been doing. And we've done numerous shapes over the summer, and we're not done yet. So if you like this Romow necklace, stay tuned and I will show you what I used and how I constructed the necklace. Stand by. The materials for today's project are pointed oval components. Now, in the video, I'm not going to show you how to make the pointed oval components because I am following Kelly Dale Off the Beaded Path, and she's doing a series of three-dimensional shapes called Shapes of Summer, and I purchased her pattern, Shapes of Summer pointed oval. The entire project for this pointed oval is a beautiful leaf pendant that she will make in the part 2 portion, but I will leave the information for this pattern and for the videos in my description box. So we're going to use a series of pointed ovals, 2 each of these 5 colors and 1 big color. I'm going to use some 3mm Firepolish beads, numerous of them, and the color for those is called Pink Luster. These are so old, I've had them in my stash. I don't even know if that's the right color anymore, but that's what I'm using. I'm also using some size 11 Delica beads, and the color is light metallic bronze DB22L. DB22L. I'm using, this is a size 11 tulip needle. I'm using my Fireline, 6-pound Fireline in the crystal color. My bead mat, or it's my bead board, some scissors, and I bought this findings set from Michael's, and I want to use it because it's got the the copper findings in it, and that's what I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using some of the jump rings that are in here. I may or may not do any crimping, but they have jump rings, they have lobster clasps, they have spring clasps, and crimp beads, and also the wire for crimping, and they also have the lobster clasps. I'm most likely going to use the lobster clasps because of how I intend to do the necklace. So these are the materials that you're going to need for the Romow necklace. And if you liked what you saw in my intro, stay tuned and we will Well, we're going to do the construction. We're not going to make these on this video because these belong to Kelly Dale. I made a variation of them, but um, you know, go over there and see Kelly. She's got a lot of wonderful shapes, and I promote that because I love her. I love the projects that she does. I try to make all of them that I see if I can. And you know, that's what we're doing here today. This is an offshoot of what she has done, and I'm happy to be able to, that she gave me permission to use her shape to make my video. So gather your materials and I'll see you in a second. I decided to add wire guardians to the project, and these are in the copper color, so all of my findings match. So to begin, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bead hole or a bail on each one of my pointed oval components. And I'm going to do that by passing my needle into the very tip top seed bead. And if you hadn't noticed, the color of the Delica bead that I'm using in this project is the A color excuse me, from the ovals. So I just wanted something to just pull it all together because of you know, we're going to be stringing it. This bail that I'm putting on is kind of like a bead hole. So I start off by, I've passed my needle into the top point of the pointed oval, and I'm leaving myself a little tail, you know, a couple inches. I strung on 5 of my Delica beads, and I'm going to pass my needle back into, from right to left where we started, in the top of the pointed oval. Pull my thread and make sure that I still have the length of the tail thread that I want, and I do. And I'm going to reinforce these 5 beads, and you can reinforce as many times as you want, but for now, just to save a little time on the video, I'm just going to reinforce this once, and I'm holding my finger there so that the beads don't come out of formation. So I have the thread, 2 thread passes into, I missed one. I have the 2 thread passes into these Delica beads, the light metallic bronze, and then the full circle here through the Delica bead where I started. And once I get through there, just make sure that it's tight, and I'm going to string on 2 of my Delica beads, and I'm going to pass my needle into the top, that center Delica bead there, and pull my thread. And it doesn't matter if these beads rest in front of the previous Delica beads or behind. It doesn't matter, just as long as both sides are resting in the same place. So mine have fallen in the front. I went through that top seed bead there, and I've strung on 2 more Delica beads, and I'm going to pass my needle back into that top Delica bead where we started. Pulling the thread now just to make sure that these beads sit in the front. It's a tiny little bail, but also it's a hole. It's a bead hole. And I'm going to be passing my needle and thread through there. And I'm going to reinforce this bail the beads that I just put on, and I'm going to tie off the threads. I'm going to work them into the pointed oval, and I'm going to do that to all of them, to all of these pointed ovals. And when I get done doing that, I will come back and we will get started on our actual construction, putting it all together. See you in a few. I have all of my pointed oval components, and they all have their bails, and I had to decide exactly or somewhat how I wanted these to be designed. So I think, I really want to go for a V-ish neckline with this design, and I have not tried to measure this out or anything to see how long it's going to be and exactly what I need to do, but I do know that I want to do like a V shape. So I have these set up graduated size order from the smallest to the largest, and I have the one center. I'm going to put a certain number of fire polish beads between these, and but I'm gonna, because I want it to be a V-ish, I'm gonna put fewer here. So I've already taken the liberty of stringing on 20 of my fire polish beads, and this is going to be a part of the necklace. And I'm going to go ahead and run my needle into the smaller buddy here on the right side and pull the thread, and I'm going to just go with the number 5 fire polish beads. And we're kind of like designing on the fly, but not really, because I kind of know what I want. So I'm going to string on 5 fire polish, and I'm going to pass my needle into the next pointed oval. And pull these down. I do have a stop bead on the end here, only because, and I've got a 12-inch tail as well, because I'm going to extend the length on this side once I figure out my measurements going towards the other side. Once I figure it out, I think I want to make about an 18-inch necklace. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to figure it out like that. So I've got 5 more fire polish going on to the orange buddy, and 5 more going into this opaque buddy here, this tan one. 5 more, and into the brown one. And now we are at the center pointed oval, the light yellow one, and I'm going to, and even though the color is light yellow, it doesn't look like light yellow in the camera or in the package. It just looks like it kind of looks white, but the color does say light yellow. And say light, oh, I'm sorry, light yellow Ceylon. That's what the color is. And I'm making a mess and getting tangled on everything on this side. Now I'm going into the center pointed oval, and because I want a V-ish shape, I'm only going to put 4 fire polish here, and slide my needle into in there, and 4 on this side. And go into here, and then 5 fire polish beads in between the rest of my little pointed oval components, and I'll be right back. So here are my components, and they have their fire polish beads in between. and they measure 7 1/4 inches. I want to make an 18-inch necklace, so that means I need about 10 3/4 inches. And remember, I started off with the 20 fire polish beads on the right side as I was stringing. Have the 20 over here, so I ended up and I put 20 on the left side when I finished stringing over here. And it's kind of hard for me to measure this because my bead board is not that long, but this measures, okay, so this I have about 12 1/4 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the stop bead off on the right side, and I'm going to go ahead and get my finish adding on my fire polish beads on each side until I get to the length that I need before the length of my clasp, and I will be right back. I have my length strung on with the fire polish beads, which ends up being 17.5 inches. I counted the fire polish beads on each side of my components, and it ends up being 42 on each side. And so this is what I'm working with right now. After I got my measurements, I went ahead and took out the findings from the package that I want to use, and I temporarily affixed this side with my my jump rings. And I'm now going to show you how to add the other side of the clasping with the lobster claw, and that's what I'm going to use, my lobster claw. And I'm going to string on here at my end of my 42 fire polish beads. I'm going to string on 2 of my Delica beads and my wire guardian. I'm going to pass that wire guardian around to the other side of the pass my needle around the other side of that wire guardian. I'm going to pull my threads down so they meet, and I was holding on to it because I didn't want my thread to come out of the grooves that are in the guardian. I'm going to run my needle into the loop of the lobster claw and pull that in. Once I've got that pulled in, we're going to string on one more fire polish bead, and I'm going to skip the fire polish. I'm stringing on one Delica bead, and I'm going to skip this top Delica bead, and I'm going to go into the one that's next to the fire polish and go through a few of these fire polish beads. And let us see. Pull my thread. I'm holding on. I'm trying to keep the thread in the grooves. I'm trying to keep the formation here of what I'm doing. And this is what I want. This is exactly what I want. Now, there's only one pass of thread through all of these beads, and which only means that we have to reinforce. I'm going to shut the camera off, and I'm going to reinforce all of these fire polish beads and the wire guardians, and I'm going to have at least 3 passes of thread going through all of these, and then I'm going to tie this thread off. And when I come back, I'm going to show you how we're going to continue. So I have completed reinforcing the necklace strap, and this is what we have. This is what we have. Okay, now you can be finished if you're going to try to make this project. You can be finished with it right here. It's fine. That's just fine. It could be done. But I'm going to do something different to finish. After I finished tied off my threads from reinforcing all the fire polish beads in the necklace strap, there's got to be 4 passes of thread in that necklace strap, and I'm going and I tied a new thread right here. I tied the thread here and where my right thumb is, and I passed my thread, the needle and thread, left, and I went around this connection again into the wire guardian and back around, and now I'm coming back, my thread is coming back this way because I want to be working in the direction of my components, of my pointed ovals. What I'm going to do is I need to be in position to get started, and my positioning is going to be the fifth, after I exit the fifth bead, right past this the smallest pointed oval. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I want to be exiting that bead right there. So I'm going to continue passing. Well, I'm not left-handed, and that's what I was trying to do. I'm going to continue passing my needle into these beads going in the direction of the pointed ovals until I exit the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, until I exit that one where my right thumb is. And I promise I'm going to exit it today. Okay. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm exiting it. My thread is coming left to right. Now, once here, I'm going to string on a Delica and 2, 3, 4, 9, I think 9. Let's see how that would do. Okay, that looks pretty good. 9 Firepolish and a Delica. And I'm going to pass through the point on this oval. And when I pull my thread, let's see what we're looking like. I think that might be it. I don't think I want to add another one. I think that might be it. And I promise you, I'm not making this up, but I really am. Okay, now, once you come out of the Delica, you're going to string on another Delica. And we're going to string on I think I'm gonna string on 6. Yes, I wrote it down someplace and I can't find it, I think, but this might be a better way of measuring. You never know. Alright, so remember, we strung on our Delica and we've got 6 Firepolish and a Delica, and we're going to pass through the point of this new Delica, and I'm sorry, this new oval. We're going to start off again, string on a Delica and 6 more. And a Delica, and we're going to pass through now the orange. Pull the thread. All right. We're going to string on now a Delica and 7 of our Firepolish. And a Delica. We're going to go through the cream one. Just that point. And we're going to string on a Delica. And 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I'm doing 8 now. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and a Delica. And we're going to pass our needle into the point of the next oval. And now we are going into the center. The center, we're going to string on a Delica and 10. And a Delica, and pass through the point of the big oval in the center. The reason we don't need bails down here on the bottom is because the bottom of the components aren't carrying any weight. The top of the components are carrying the weight of the neck strap. So that's why we wanted to do something different up there. Okay, now that I'm in the center, we're gonna just go backwards. I string on my Delica, 10, Firepolish, come on today, and a Delica, and we pass through the point of the next oval. Same thing as we did in between here. Here, there should be 8, so a Delica, 8 Firepolish, and a Delica into the next point. And here we pick up a Delica and 7. And a Delica, and pass into our next point. Here we pick up a Delica and 6 Firepolish, and a Delica, and we go into our next point. And a Delica and 6, and a Delica, and go into our tiny component. And here we string on a Delica and 9, and a Delica, and we're going to count our beads, our Firepolish, and we're going to pass into 2, 3, 4 into this 5th one, going towards the jump rings, and get through as many as you possibly can. And this Oh boy, this is what we have. The only thing I have to do now is make some knots with my working thread, weave my tails in from my tail end, and trim those tails and those threads, and I'll be back with you. As you can see, all of my threads have been woven in and trimmed, and I'd like to introduce you to the Romow necklace. I'd like to thank you for hanging out with me in the construction of the Romow necklace, and I look forward to seeing you the next time. Remember, this project is based on this pattern from Kelly Dale Off the Beaded Path, Shapes of Summer, pointed oval. I made the Carolina fall leaf pendant for as my project, but this I was addicted to making these pointed ovals, and I just couldn't stop making them, so I figured I better do something with them, and I'm happy that she gave me permission to use her her pattern. It is modified somewhat because it's modified. However, I will leave the information for the pattern, and I will put the link to her video in my description box. So thank you very much for your support of my channel. See you next time.